Chapter 17. The Brothers. The next telling comes from John and Michael, the brothers who lost their whole family. Before the apocalypse, the sibling fights always against each other. There was no day they haven't a struggle about different things, although it was the television program or the last pudding in the fridge. Nothing could be worth to quarrel. The difference of their age was only a year, and so they were equal strong. Michael was the younger, but in weight and strength not weaker than John. Who would think that these both strugglers were later the closest siblings? Nobody, if not. That sentence I didn't have to finish. After they come from work in the same moment, they would like to quarrel about a television controller. As they arrive at home, they're parking their cars in front of the house as fast as they can and run into the house. That the front door was open, they didn't realize in the combat. John was the first in the living room, but before he can switch on the TV, he gets freezed in the middle of the room. Michael takes the controller off his hand with force, but John didn't do anything about it, like he always do. That was confusing for Michael, because John didn't give up in the past so fast. Michael asked his brother for the reason of the losing. Without a word lifted John his arm and showed with his finger to the window. Michael followed his sign and saw through the window that his parents knee on the grass and eat their little sister. Speechless, Michael asked his brother what they should do, but no one could have an answer for such a question. In his anger, Michael smashed the controller through the window in the garden. That was a failure, because now they get noticed of their undead parents. With blood-covered faces and hands, they come to the house and press their bodies against the outside glass door of the kitchen. Now Michael gets a shock and can't move. John lost his freezing and invented a plan. He saw so many zombie movies that he thought he knew what to do. He asked his little brother to wait for him and watch the zombies. For that he should stand in front of the glass door in a distance of 2 meters and wait. If the zombies break the glass and come in, he should run upstairs, smash the commode down the stairs and lock up himself in his room. In the meantime, John would run to the tool store in the garden to catch the 2 spades and axes. For the way and the transport of the weapons, he only needs 4 minutes. After he comes back, the zombie parents stand still in front of the door and try to come in. John gives Michael a spade in his hand and let him stick an axe in his belt. As next, he shows his little brother how to use effectively a spade against zombies. You take the stick with the blade in the left hand and the T-formed end into the right. Hold the spade in the high of the throat. If a zombie comes directly in your direction with stretched arms, you were able to cut his head with the blade over the arms like a billiard stick. If you didn't cut the head with one hit, it is a good method to keep them away. After that exploration of John to his brother, Michael wants to start and walk slowly to the glass door. He wants to let the dead parents into the kitchen to salvating them. Before he can open the door, John stopped him. He explains his younger brother that it is suicide to fight in such a small area like a kitchen. You need enough space to move. If you get in trouble, you need space to escape. Without more words, he takes his brother and goes into the garden. Calling the parents' name, they get the attention of the Walking Dead. Slowly they come back on the grass to attack their own children. At once they use the techniques which John learned from the movies. Like he told his brother, the first hit didn't cut the head at the first time, but the hit was strong enough to strike the zombie on the ground. Before the zombie dead can get up, John cut the head of his dead father with the spade. To his surprise, the undead didn't die finally like in the movies. Michael acts different in the meantime. He reacts very fast after the strike against his dead mother. She falls on the ground. During John wondered that he can't kill the zombie, Michael takes the axe from his belt and splits the head of the shaking corpse. That kills the balance of the zombie and she fall every time down if she wants to stand up. Without knowledge of zombie movies, he began to cut the shaking body in pieces. After John saw this, he starts the same and produces wonderful shaking body parts on the ground. For that he kicked the headless body of his father to the ground, fixed him with his foot on the chest, and pushed as hard as he can the spade blade into the extremities of the headless corpse. For the arms he needs only 1 or 2 hits to cut them off. He tried the same with the legs, but the flesh and bones were too thick. He won't waste any time with that, because he was afraid about the noise they make. It could be good bait for other zombies. And so he sets the blade on the joints of the legs and jumps with his full weight on the end of the spade blade. Like digging in the earth, he slides down and cuts each leg with one jump. With that maximum of force, no body part could resist. After the brothers have only shaking body parts on the ground, they start at once to dig holes and bury the dead parents under the ground. He didn't know about the character of the spell, but he thought that will be better than to risk that the body parts move uncontrolled around. John was not sure that also the parts could be bait for other zombies. After a half hour, all was done and under the ground. Both brothers go much tired into the house, close the windows and secure it, lock up all entrance, eat bread for dinner, and go to bed. At the next day they switch on the television at first to see what happened. The apocalypse was full in progress and all senders were dead. Only a few radio programs still exist. The speakers reports from zombie crowds which walk all over the country and killed all on their way. John and Michael know that they are alone. For their luck, their parents were good buyers and the cellar was full with food and other stuff. The food would keep them alive for months. They didn't recognize that they stopped to travel from one day to the other. Why should they? Nothing exists anymore for a fight. They were alone and only having each other. As brothers they have to work together to survive. Exact after 4 weeks the brothers cut their parents in pieces. They get the information that people build groups to slay the undead. To save more people, they need more men. Everyone who wants to fight against these monsters should come and join a group in many towns and villages. It was usual for the brothers that undead walk around, and so they were not amazed that also vampires walk on Earth. John and Michael know that the food wouldn't be enough for the rest of their lives. And so they followed the calling for fighters and joined the group of Sam and Fino. That was the end of the reasons of John and Michael to hunt zombies down.